All right. Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. We are on the seventh and final of the 7 categories of bitachon that a person needs to have, and which categories they need to, and how to apply the bitachon. And yesterday we started talking about the final one, about the eternal goodness of the world to come, the supreme goodness of the world to come, of Olam Haba. And we started talking about that the concept of reward is out of love that we have for Hashem. And Hashem gives us that love. Yesterday, we finished off, and there was a little piece over here. And we spoke about how when a person tries to practice abstinence from worldly possessions, and it's not that we could do that overnight, but we have to try our best to love Hashem more. And by that, automatically you will have more love for Hashem and less love for other things because you only have a certain capacity. So the Chazon Ish brings us, there was a story from the Chazon Ish that there was a yeshiva bacher that once enrolled in the yeshiva, and he was unable to detach himself from his old friends back home who were a bad influence on him. And so they asked if the Chazon Ish could speak to this bacher. Chazon Ish said, of course. He calls in the bacher, and he sits him down and he starts talking to him. He says, "What did you learn today? What did you learn this week?" He tells him what he learned. He goes, "Tell me something, a chiddush, something that you came up with. Give me something." And the kid said, "You know what? I did come up with something last week." And he tells the Chazon Ish, and he's so proud to tell the Chazon Ish this. Chazon Ish smiles, he speaks with him a few more minutes and lets him go. Chazon Ish Talmidim, after the boy left, he asks him, "I understand, you didn't speak to him a word about his friends and to encourage him to stay away." He says, "This boy has yet to learn to love learning and to love Hashem." He says, if I take away the one thing that he loves, he's never going to learn. He goes, first I want to encourage him to have love for Hashem, have love for Torah, and therefore little by little, he's going to automatically by himself lose the love for the friends that are a bad influence. So in the closing parts of this section, of this category, the Rav Av wants to bring some parts to explain what the supreme goodness of Olam Haba is. And so he says that we're on page 221, for those who are following along. V'yisnaig b'minhage hanavim v'chasidim. He will thus be conducting himself. If a person does everything in love for Hashem, he'll be conducting himself in the same way of the chasidim and the neviim. And v'yiyah libay betuach belehim. Then his heart will be able to be confident in Hashem. She'yischasid ima k'mo she'yischasid imam ba'olam haba. That he will grant, the person will have bitachon then, that Hashem will grant him exceptional kindness in the world to come, just as he has granted him exceptional kindness to these chasidim and neviim. This is the correct application for bitachon in regards to the sublime reward, this eternal goodness that we speak about. In short, Hashem rewards a special level of goodness at Olam Haba as an expression for his love for those who are completely devoted to him. For those people who show complete love and devotion to Hashem, that's a special chelik in Olam Haba. We speak about a special chelik in Olam Haba. That's what Hashem puts it away for. Aval, he warns. Aval misha yiftach elakim she'izakeu lezeh mebli mitzua maseh. However, some of you who think that the trust in that you have in Hashem will still give him the kindness without engaging in this kind of behavior, or even worse, to do sins, and you still have bitachon that you're going to get that. He calls him, who haksil v'hapes, he's a fool and an ignoramus. V'hu doime lemishenema. Oisim b'maseh zimri mevakshim secha pinchas. Those, they perform actions like Zimri, and they seek reward like Pinchas. Over there, the story was that Zimri ben Suli was the nasi for Shevet Shimon, and over there he was mezana with a Moabite woman. And what happened? Pinchas ben Elazar ben Arakon, he went and he killed them both, all for the sake of Hashem. And he did that in public. Why? To show that there's no place in our world for aveiros like this. And for that he was rewarded eternal goodness, because he did stuff just for the love of Hashem. Now, Rav Av points out a few different characteristics of those people who are also worthy for this extra eternal goodness in Olam Haba. And those traits, it's different traits. You don't have to only kill yourself on Kiddush Hashem in order to be zoited to these kind of things. He brings some more examples. He says, identifying traits of those people who have reached this exceptional level, that they get this exceptional love from Hashem. These include that, first of all, one trait is that you teach other people the avodas Hashem. That you teach people what it means to get close to Hashem. That each one of you have the opportunity to talk to other people about that. And that they exhibit acceptance in their nisyonis in their life. Not everyone has the perfect life. As a matter of fact, I don't believe anybody has the perfect life. But everybody has something that they're challenged with. But when they're accepting of those challenges and understanding that this is what Hashem did for them, because this is what Hashem decreed and that's what's meant to be, and they are happy with that because they understand that that's what Hashem wants. A person like that who's super happy with that person also has an extra schar in Olam Haba. And that they view every action related to fulfilling the mitzvahs of Hashem as easy. Sometimes we come across not necessarily a mitzvah, but anything in life. It's too difficult, I don't want to do it. But that same task, if somebody else would ask you to do it, you would do it right away, gladly. Why? Because you have a special love for that person. And you would do anything for that person. That's what you need to have. That special love with Hashem, that anything that comes about your way, that it becomes easy. Why? Because it's not because it's difficult or hard, because you want to do it for Hashem. You love Hashem. And it says, Kimoshi Yidata min ha'inyan, Vayelakim Nisa es Avram. You know that these are the traits from various historical incidents, such as Badakeda. What was the story of Badakeda, by Avram Avinu? Hashem gave him a test. But Avram didn't flinch. Not only that, Yitzchak didn't flinch either when his father told him you're going to be a carbon on the Akedah. Why? Because Avram practiced the first part of teaching others. He taught his son to love Hashem and that everything is from Hashem. And so when Hashem gave him this test, it was easy. That's the point he's trying to bring out. That it was easy for him. He said, no problem, let's do it, let's go. He says, V'inyan Chanani Mishal Azari Mevakesh Eish. Mevakesh Eish. Over there by Chanani Mishal Azariah, what happened to evil Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Bavel? He built a statue and he said, everybody has to come over here and bow to the statue. Chanani Mishal Azariah in public went there and flagrantly, right in front of them, said, absolutely not. And Nebuchadnezzar said, you guys are going to be burned. And they were happy to do it. Why? Because they wanted to make a Kiddush Hashem Barabim. And that is the ultimate thing. And what happened in the end was Hashem saved them. They didn't die. They didn't get burnt. V'Daniel begoiv harayis. And also by Daniel was part of the king's court. And he davened 3 times a day. And the other servants were jealous of him. They didn't like him. So they went to the king and they decreed that any person who prays to any other god other than to the king should be killed. And what happened over there? He did that anyway, he didn't care, and then the king threw him into a lion's den. Hashem saved him there as well. V'asarai haruge malchus, and the incidents of the 10 martyrs. Rabbi Akiva was part of the 10 martyrs. Over there, they tried to get him to renounce his Yiddishkeit, and he refused. And when they were taking hot combs, and they were combing their skin from their body with all that pain, Rabbi Akiva said to his students, he recited Shema Yisrael, and his Talmidim asked him, he says, I don't understand, you in such a time, how could you do that? How can you come to the mind to say Shema Yisrael, and all you have to do is renounce your Yiddishkeit? And he said to them, he said, all my life I've been waiting for the opportunity to fulfill Hashem, that you love Him with all your soul. This is the first and only opportunity I'm ever going to get in my life. Is this not the time to be so proud and to say Shema Yisrael, to be so accepting and happy that you're a Yid? That's what it was. Rav Av explains why these type of people deserve a special place in Olam Haba. He says, anyone who chooses to accept death and remain loyal to the service of Hashem rather than to save his life through disloyalty, and also he says, you don't only have to give up your life for this. If someone says give up all your wealth, but otherwise I'm going to unless you renounce your Yiddishkeit, that's also on the same exact level as giving up your life. And he says over there also, or over your health, meaning that someone says to them, alternative medicine that's not halachically accepted. Maybe pray to some kind of God that they think about. and that's not accepted, and you saying, I don't care, I'd rather die than try this alternative medicine that's not allowed by Yiddishkeit, that's also just as good, and that's deserving of the special spot in Olam Haba. V'hatzara min hashalva, and distress over tranquility. That you live in a life where distress and someone promises tranquility, but you would have to give up Hashem's name, you have to give up Yiddishkeit. Again, another way. V'nimsa ledin haboyer v'ratza b'gezerasai. And he delivers himself to Hashem's judgment, and he's content with his decree, that whatever befalls him, he is content with whatever Hashem gave him. This person, Rohu lechesed haboyer alav b'noyim ha'olam haba. This type of person with this type of characteristics is worthy of Hashem's special kindness and bestowed upon him in the Olam Haba. He says, Asha Amar Alav Akas, the Pasuk says in Mishlei, it says, Lahanchil oyahave yesh v'yitzayasem amale. I have what to bequeath to those who love me, and I shall fill their storehouses. And he says the word yesh means Hashem has, that it's a vast amount, and he describes that it talks about Olam Haba, that you give him so much, and that's another place where we see that Hashem is mentioning that the unlimited kindness I'm going to show you in Olam Haba. And then further it says, no eye except yours, Hashem, has seen what he will do for the one who awaits him, for the person who deans the Bashafa like that. It says in Tehillim, Ma Raf Tuvcha Ashet Safanta L'Re'echa. How abundant is your goodness that you have hidden away from those who fear you. All these verses, all these psukim that he brings over here is trying to bring us proof that if we go above and beyond the call of duty, not the regular mitzvahs, but to love Hashem and do the extra parts, be chasidim, go lefnim Mashiach Sadim when it comes to these things. You don't have to kill yourself in order to get these extra special spots in Olam Haba. You don't have to give up your wealth. There's so many things that we can do that we show extra love and extra special attention to Hashem, and we practice abstinence from worldly things, especially from Averos. And that is the seventh place of where we have Bitachon. If we have that kind of practice that we have every single day, and we show extra love and we're careful to make sure that we don't practice anything that's against Hashem, then you could have Bitachon. And that's the seventh category, that you will have extra love in the world to come. This concludes the 7 categories of where we apply our Bitachon. And tomorrow, Mi'at Hashem, we're going to start a whole new category, chapter 5, Perek Daled, and it talks about the beautiful part and how a person with proper Bitachon acts in real life, and what the difference is between someone who doesn't have proper Bitachon acts in real life. And it's going to be a really, really, really interesting and very, very something that you're going to really, really love. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today, and I love all of you.